Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the Oracle GraalVM Enterprise webcast series. My name is Scott Sigmund. I'm a Principal Solutions Consultant on the GraalVM team, and today we'll be exploring recommendations for developing a comprehensive Java framework to help you establish both a healthy and efficient enterprise Java environment. I do want to begin by setting expectations. So in this 30-minute webcast, we're going to cover the highlights for building a solid Java plan. So after this session, we strongly encourage you to contact your Oracle Java experts to discuss in detail how we can provide a path to accelerate your Java application performance. So with that in mind, let's dive in. So the framework we'll be reviewing today is important for a variety of reasons. In combination, these steps will increase efficiency of your Java environment. We anticipate they will help promote collaboration among your cross-functional teams. We anticipate an improvement in your adaptability and your ability to pivot. We'll show how you can accelerate performance and even talk about enhanced user experience. And of course, the focus here is to increase reliability of your Java environment, and at the same time, improve compliance and risk avoidance. And I think most organizations are striving to improve on all these aspects. And our three goals will provide a framework for achieving these goals. All right, so we've titled this webcast 3 Steps to Accelerate Java Application Performance. So what exactly are these 3 steps? And how do they contribute to better Java performance? So I've defined the framework in 3 compatible steps. The first is Access, which focuses on gaining insight into your Java environment. The second is Capture, where we record and analyze relevant data about your Java applications. And the last step is Optimize, where we introduce new methods for accelerating your Java application performance. But by the way, it's important to note that the technologies comprising these 3 steps are included with your Java SE subscription. So everything we'll talk about today, the features we'll cover, I believe will add a significant value to your subscription. All right, so let's take a glimpse at each step in a little bit more detail, beginning with Assess. So in any Java environment, it's crucial to have continuous insight based on real data from your JVM to help analyze security, to help with performance. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. We talked about compliance, a way for you to maintain compliance and even to improve, any kind of efficiency metrics that you may be tracking. So I've worked with many organizations struggling to maintain a grasp of their Java environment, and they're consistently, they have a consistent need to understand what Java versions are running in their development and production environments, which vendors are providing the Java installations in their environment. Are their applications using the intended Java installations or the right Java versions? Are there any unauthorized Java applications running that might be consuming valuable resources? And of course, how many outdated Java installations are in use? So all these data points play an important role in assessing your Java environment. Of course, that begs the question: how does assessment contribute to accelerating your Java application performance? And that's a valid question. So consider this example. As reflected in the earlier questions, many organizations are uncertain which version or versions of Java are running in their production environments or development environments. So by compiling a list of outdated Java installations, we can identify the targets for upgrades, which translate directly into improved performance. So how does that happen? So as an example, with Java 17, we've introduced 1,000 plus improvements just to the G1 garbage collector since JDK 8. And that includes advances in latency, throughput, and even footprint, specifically in terms of memory. In fact, we've reduced latency scores by 50% since JDK 8. So now, imagine the performance gains you'll realize by migrating to a current Java release, in this case Java 17, or the resources you'll save by migrating, or even more importantly, the improved customer experience you'll introduce by adopting modern Java technology. So if you don't have insight into your Java environment, you won't have the data you need to accelerate your Java performance or to justify the move to newer releases. So how can we help? Well, Oracle provides management technologies and services to help manage Java runtimes and applications both on premises or on any cloud. We offer two complementary solutions. The first is Advanced Management Console, or AMC, which is an on-premises solution. And the second is Java Management Service, or JMS, which is a cloud-based service. So AMC is a customer-managed solution focused on managing desktops. JMS is a cloud-based Oracle-managed solution to manage Java deployments, both server and desktop. So both of them have advantages, and both of them overlap in a manner of speaking. The principal benefits include, the ability to collect information about which Java applications are launched by which Java versions. So you can kind of create an application compatibility inventory. Usage tracking is the foundation here. You can also create deployment rules that enable different applications to use different versions of Java installed on the clients. So this benefits organizations that must use older versions of Java or need many different Java versions for different reasons. As a JMS user, you can use insights from JMS to optimize your workloads across your enterprise. You can protect your Java SE investments by identifying those outdated Java installations and unauthorized applications we mentioned a little bit earlier. And I think one important aspect is you can use one integrated service versus multiple independent tools, for inventory management and compliance. So JMS and AMC help sysadmins and developers, for that matter, answer those questions we posed a little bit earlier. Like what are the versions of Java I'm running in my development and production? Which vendors are providing my installations? How many outdated Java installations are in use, etc. So as you can see, in our first step, assessing your Java environment, having an overarching view is a critical step. All right, on to the second step, which is capture. And by capture, I'm referring to the process of recording and analyzing data from running Java applications. So we use this data to make decisions on how to improve performance based on feedback from analysis tools. And there are an assortment, of course, of tools and techniques for capturing and analyzing data. JDK Flight Recorder, JDK Mission Control, and Visual VM in combination provide a really powerful alternative to the sometimes cost-prohibitive commercial diagnostic tools. So JDK Flight Recorder, JFR, is a monitoring tool that collects information about the JVM during the execution of Java applications. And it's an event-based tracing framework that's actually built in to the Java runtime. So it's suitable for production environments, and it actually allows correlation of data from different subsystems in different software layers. There's also an API that's included for producing application-level events and consuming of event streams. And I'll talk a little bit more about this later. So you can actually process real-time data. And JFR is designed from the start for production use. And it provides extremely low overhead so that you can use it in production. So compared to similar tools, JFR has a lot of benefits, right? It provides better data because we have this coherent data model that makes it easier to cross-reference and even filter events. It allows for third-party event providers. So it has a set of APIs that allow JFR to monitor third-party applications, including WebLogic Server and other Oracle products, as you might imagine. And ultimately, it enables you to spend less time diagnosing and troubleshooting problems. And this provides faster resolution time when problems do occur. So once we have the data in place using JFR, we need tools to evaluate and analyze the data. And that's where Java JDK Mission Control comes into play, or JMC. JMC is an advanced set of tools that enable that detailed analysis of the data we've collected using JDK Flight Recorder. So in addition to JMC, there's another tool, GraalVM, which also provides detailed information about Java applications while they're running on the JVM. So both JMC and GraalVM have graphical user interfaces that enable you to quickly view and easily see information about multiple Java applications running in your environment. Both of them offer profiling capabilities. So like JMC, GraalVM is designed for both development and production time use. So these tool chains enable developers, administrators to collect using JFR and analyze using JMC or GraalVM to analyze the data from Java applications running locally or deployed in your production environments, even in the cloud. So circling back to the streaming capabilities, as of Java 14 and above, JEP 349 introduced the JFR streaming API, which enables JDK Flight Recorder for continuous monitoring. So this allows you to share monitoring data with common monitoring services like Prometheus and Grafana to display real-time data. Micrometer is another example. Okay, so once we have analyzed our data, we can move on to the next step in our framework, which is optimize. And the optimization step is unique in that it can move in different paths or in different directions. So first, based on the feedback and analysis of our runtime data, and of course including your performance goals, whether that be, throughput or latency or even startup times, etc., you could choose to apply a variety of Java tuning parameters that are available to you as a developer, or even different garbage collectors. So once you define the most important performance characteristics for your system, you can determine which parameters to tune or even how to adjust the existing parameters. So of course, there are other options like JLink and application class data sharing, CDS, for example. However, these options and tuning in general can be complicated and may require some trial and error. And ultimately, for this reason, we would propose you consider GraalVM. So GraalVM is a high-performance runtime and multi-language compiler that yields that significant improvement in application performance. So GraalVM has a high-performance optimizing compiler that accelerates application performance by up to 55% without any code changes. That's right. You can simply point your Java_home to your GraalVM installation and instantly realize or see improved performance. So how does that happen? Well, GraalVM Enterprise leverages these optimization algorithms to improve performance of enterprise applications. So the bottom line is applications run faster and scale better with reduced CPU and reduced memory requirements. And this makes GraalVM Enterprise the best solution for your JIT-based applications or even building out microservices, as you'll find out here in a moment. So the second path to consider is re-architecting or refactoring your applications, if you're familiar with the 6 R's. And this path sets in motion the ability to enable adoption of microservices frameworks, even containers and Kubernetes. In other words, this is a step towards modernizing your application development and deployment methodologies. And with the adoption of microservices, this allows you to embrace a broader range of use cases. And you can support those technologies central to cloud-native development practices, as I just mentioned. And this provides a platform for innovation and truthfully, a pathway to accelerate your application modernization or transformation, however you want to define it. And once again, GraalVM plays a vital role in this path. In this instance, you can take advantage of GraalVM's ahead-of-time compilation. With AOT, you can create native executables that start almost instantaneously. So AOT compiles applications ahead of time into native executables, and this vastly improves startup times and memory footprint. In addition, today's most popular microservices frameworks like Micronaut and Spring Boot and Quarkus all depend on GraalVM to deliver fast, efficient application development and deployment models. So the optimized step is likely where you'll encounter the best opportunity to accelerate your Java application performance. And that's due to the innovative features designed into GraalVM. So one more comment about the 3 steps: access, capture, optimize, and even modernize. In your environment, there may be additional steps required to produce a significant boost in application performance. For example, there might be a migration step or a re-architect step or rehosting step, etc. Every use case is different, but these steps can serve as a foundation for beginning or even adjusting your path to better Java performance. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, there are a number of benefits to adopting this 3-step approach, but certainly there is one advantage that enables the success of each step, and that's support. So with your Java SE subscription, you gain access to performance, scalability, security updates directly from Oracle. You get access to Oracle Java SE versions, even past their end of public updates. You get access to critical bug fixes before they're included in publicly available releases. You get access to all the Java SE commercial features. And of course, you get around-the-clock support for fast fixes and mission-critical, fast fixes for your mission-critical applications. In addition, as we mentioned earlier, your subscription includes Java Management Service and Advanced Management Console, plus an entitlement to GraalVM Enterprise at no additional cost. So this is truly a value add and a vital piece to the framework. All right, So we provided highlights of the 3 steps to accelerate your Java application performance. So we'll summarize the session by stressing that, again, having that comprehensive framework in place is really going to help you establish a really solid enterprise Java environment. And keep in mind, we can help you down this path. So we can help assess your current Java environment and even provide guidance or a path on how you can achieve your performance goals, as we mentioned earlier. So we encourage you to schedule time with us, schedule a discovery session to discuss GraalVM, to discuss Java performance optimization, and even the best practices we've established over the years by working with hundreds and hundreds of Java customers. And finally, take advantage of all the benefits in your Java SE subscription, JMS, AMC, GraalVM, all of those, and the support, right? All of those contribute to that solid Java enterprise framework. All right, we'll leave you with some resources you can leverage to get started with these steps and with GraalVM. So here's some resources, and again, please reach out to us. We're willing and able to help. So that concludes the presentation portion of this session. With the time remaining, Sean and I would be happy to address any questions. So let's get to the Q&A. Thanks again for your time and attention.
All right, thanks, Scott. So yeah, I'm Sean Smith. I'm lead product management for GraalVM, and I'm going to play the host for the Q&A session. And so if you have some questions, you can put them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and then I'll relay them to Scott. I'll give him a verbal, set them up verbally for him. And I got a few here now, but you can add some more if you have some more questions. The first question, you all set, Scott?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just checking. So first question is, what types of apps are suitable for modernization versus optimization? And I guess that's on your third slide, or your last, sorry, the last section, right? The last slide, the step 3. How do you choose, or what's suitable?
So that's a great question. And as I mentioned during the presentation, the use cases are going to vary. And in fact, the steps to modernization are going to be varied also, will be different. And I referred to the 6 R's. I don't know if the audience is familiar with the 6 R's, but you might have heard of, rehosting, replatforming, repurchasing, refactoring, retiring, and retaining, right? So those are all the, those are the things that you need to consider when you're targeting applications for modernization, right? And not all applications, because of maybe vast dependencies that you might have within your Java applications, are good targets for microservices. So I guess the question is, and I put back to the audience is, right, what kind of approach do you want to take, or what kind of resources do you have to be able to move towards refactoring your monolithic applications to microservices? So it often depends on, the resources you have, the skill set that you have internally, and there, quite frankly, it comes down to the cost, weighing the cost of transitioning those applications from monolithic to microservices. So that's a long answer. I guess the short answer is, it varies by use case.
Right. The answer is always, it depends.
Yeah, it depends, right?
But yeah, actually, that's the next question actually is pretty good in terms of getting you there. So it was out. It's how do you assess and get insight into your current environment, including what applications and versions of Java are being used? And I guess that's input into your monetization choices, right, or optimization choice.
Yeah, and in fact, it really goes back to getting assessing or getting some insight into your Java environment. And today we have JMS and AMC. So JMS works by there's an agent that's actually installed on the host, and the agent monitors and collects data from the host, and then it reports it back to the management agent service. So it can collect all kinds of data about anytime a Java application starts, anytime a runtime starts, a Java runtime starts. All of this is provided by the Java usage tracker. Depending on what type of information you're trying to collect, all this can be presented to you through those types of management services, JMS or AMC.
Right. Very good. Okay, and then this session, maybe this is a easy question. How do I get JFR, Mission Control, Visual VM? So you mentioned the three tools or the three technologies, and also I think AMC. Management console. But how do you get these tools?
Right. So JFR, and by the way, if you're familiar with the history behind JFR, it actually started out as a JRocket flight recorder, and was actually delivered as a commercial product. But it's since been open sourced and rebranded as JDK flight recorder, and it's actually delivered with the Java virtual machine in the distributions. And by the way, on a side note, Oracle and Red Hat are collaborating on JFR for GraalVM native image. In fact, there's an early implementation that's available now, and we'll continue to evolve and extend JFR support with future GraalVM releases. So
I just want to interject that JFR is one of the greatest things in the JVM, and it really is underutilized. So people, if you're not paying attention to JFR, look it up. It's a great feature. It's amazing, and it's kind of under the radar because it used to be a commercial feature. It got open sourced, and I don't think it's gotten the attention it deserves.
Yeah, agreed. Sure. And I think that's why we wanted to touch on it today.
Yep.
Visual VM is also delivered as part of the JDK and GraalVM distribution. JDK Mission Control, or JMC, is a separate download, and you can find that at the Java download site.
Okay, good. Okay, well, look at the clock. We're just at the end of the 30-minute slot we have, so I think I'll stop it there. Thank you, Scott, for a great presentation, and I'll thank people for attending, and just want to give you a couple of housekeeping notes at the end here. So there's a survey question that'll pop up when you're completing the closing the webinar here. We'd love if you give us some feedback so we can help do a better job on these. And our next webinar is November 17th, and we'll be talking about new advances in performance in GraalVM native image in the recently released, well, actually yesterday released, 21.3 release for GraalVM. So thanks very much. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.